I'm Victoria Bola Okerinde, blogger and podcast host on the Creatives in Focus podcast. Yes, wow, amazing. Thank you so much, LUTON Lights, for inviting me to be a speaker at your event that was meant to hold on the 21st of March, titled Breaking into Creative Industries. Unfortunately, we cannot meet in person, but yes, I'm so happy to answer questions that you've sent to me. So yeah, let's get cracking. Question number one, what is your creative story? I would say my creative story starts from a very young age. When I was younger, I'd spend a lot of time sketching, designing, singing, as well as daydreaming as well. I had a very creative mind. In my teenage years, secondary school, I actually took an open university course, photography course, and I started doing photography. And during that time, I was very interested in style, and through that I started off my blog titled Layer by Victoria, which is a style and personal development platform. So I've been doing that for a few years, almost like 6 years. And for me, that was a way to channel and channel my self-expression, and as well as inspire and encourage other people like me, young women, young creatives. And through that blog, I actually started off the Creatives in Focus podcast. So basically speaking to other creatives, entrepreneurs, individuals who are doing amazing things, who are influencing change and creating for impact. So that's just a little bit about my creative story. Number two, how did you break into the creative industry? Well, I feel like I'm currently trying to break into the creative industry. I do not have a very typical background for a creative. So I didn't go to uni and study any creative courses. But I would say that something that I've been doing is trying to create my own opportunities. So I have a science background. So how did I break into, or how am I breaking into the creative industry? I would say I'm trying to do this by being very passionate about the things that I'm doing. And I mean, if you're not currently taking a course in your desired field, something that I've been doing is actually just trying to learn as much as possible, and learn and work at the same time. So this can include doing research, volunteering at events, taking on an internship, or even looking for a mentor, somebody who is within the field, who's already working within that sector. How I break it in. So I basically dipped my hands into a few things. Like I mentioned, I'm a blogger, I'm a podcast host. I also sing in a little girl group, and I'm a small business owner. So I would say, like involve yourself in different things. If you can, if you have the time, if you are capable of doing that. But something that I would say about doing that is that a downside to it can be that without getting 100% help and support, you may not be able to give your all into the projects that you're involved in. So one advice I would say, or something that I've learned in trying to break into the creative industry, is ensuring that you can do one, and if you're capable, you can do two things very well. It's really important to be excellent at what you're doing, because when you're excellent, you can really make a sustainable impact. So when I say that, I would say, yeah, definitely, work really hard to ensure that your work speaks for you, to ensure that people are willing to work with you, even though you're not where you want to be, but people can see the potential in you. And I've been trying to break into the creative industry by learning and not being scared to create opportunities for myself, especially when I have felt that there is none available to people like me or to someone with my background. Okay, so number three, number three, who is your creative industry? Sorry, what am I saying? Number 3, who is your creative inspiration? Okay, so I have a few people who inspire me. Number 1, I would say, as a podcast host, there's a wonderful lady called Fiona Grayson. She's the host of She Can, She Did podcast. A podcast basically centered on putting a spotlight and creating a little bit of buzz around women who are some of the UK's most inspiring and successful young female entrepreneurs. Another person that inspires me, I would say, is Patricia Washington. She's an American podcast host and author, and her podcast is called Redefining Wealth. She's so amazing. Like I said, she does different things, but the podcast, I found it to be so inspiring, and it's done really great things in my life. Another person who inspires me is another Patricia Bright. She's so amazing. So she's basically turned her career as a YouTuber and businesswoman into an amazing empire, and I find her so inspiring because she is a true testament to actually working hard and achieving the goals that you set for yourself and believing in yourself, and not following a conventional path. So number 4, advice for girls who want to pursue careers in the creative industry or follow your footsteps. Okay, I'll give a little bit more general advice because I feel like everyone has their path. It'd be great if anybody wants to follow my footsteps, but ensure that you also know what you want to do and the way you want to go with your career. But the advice that I would give is that you need to be prepared to work hard. Work hard as well as plan. When you do those two things, you're almost guaranteed success. So for example, I planned for 4 months before I started the Creatives in Focus podcast. Another thing I would say is you need to build resilience. Because often in the creative industry, or just in any industry, sometimes you may have a few no's, you may have a few setbacks, but it's important for you to be strong and to know that you are valuable, you have something great to offer, and today's no does not mean that there won't be a yes tomorrow. I would also say look out for opportunities and do not sit on an opportunity. When you see one, go for it. When you hear about an opportunity, ask further about that opportunity. Look out for opportunities to be able to learn, to be visible, as well as invest in yourself. So invest in events, or put yourself forward for volunteering at events where you can learn and where you can take part in the action, and where you can meet people who you aspire to be. For example, volunteering during London Fashion Week, or if you're a freelancer, you can apply to be press if you're able to, or if you're really interested in understanding how solutions are made, or working closely with people who are creating solutions and impact, you could volunteer at a think tank, or you could work with a charity. There's a lot of things as a young person, as a creative, that you can kind of get yourself involved to kind of push yourself into the path that you want to be in. Question number 5, how can women in creative industries be supported? I would say women in creative industries can be supported through funding. Money is so important in order to grow. But I would say that there are a few grants available and focused on lifting and encouraging women in the creative industries. So do your research. women in the creative industries can also be supported through mentorship, so ensuring that they have access to opportunities, like I previously mentioned, and advice that will make them visible and succeed in their field. And I would say there are a few groups that offer great mentorship, such as the Mentor Matcher, as well as the Creative Mentor Network. Another way women in creative industries can be supported is through ensuring that there are programs such as LUTON Lights available to women, to certain women and young people from certain backgrounds. For, like I mentioned, LUTON Lights. So LUTON Lights creates a safe space for women, a community for women to support each other, to learn and to grow. So those are the few ways that women in creative industries can be supported. Question number 6. Okay, how do you handle setbacks? Okay, so this is a really, really good question. I handle setbacks by trying to remain positive, and I know that's really difficult in some situations, but another thing I would say is that I try to handle setbacks by also understanding why certain things have not worked the way I wanted to have worked. So sometimes I ask myself, critical questions, is there any knowledge that I'm lacking? Do I need more experience? How do I pitch my idea better? But when I say critical, I also mean do not be too hard on yourself, because there's certain things that are just out of your control, and just understand that it's a journey, and you don't have to rush anything. There will always be another opportunity, and success and greatness is something that cannot be rushed. So yes, that is how I try to handle setbacks, and that's the end of the questions. Thank you so much, LUTON Lights, for giving me the opportunity to share, and I really do hope that we will be able to meet in person and have this wonderful event, and I'm excited to meet all the wonderful ladies and young people at LUTON Lights and at this event. Do stay safe. If you'd like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Instagram at Leo by Victoria. You can connect with the Creatives in Focus podcast at Creatives in Focus on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, so Creatives in Focus. You can listen to our podcast as well, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and a majority of the podcast platforms. So yes, it's been really great. Until next time, influence change and create for impact.